You may not be happy, but you got to go deal with it. Are you in or are you out? If you don't do it, we're done. I'm going to make you do stuff you don't want to do. Woo! Face things you don't want to face.
Push!
It'll be an experience where life will never be the same again. In over 30 years as an author, strategist, and coach, I've worked with millions of people who want to achieve their dreams. But now, I'm taking on my toughest challenge yet. You don't sit on the couch while your family's suffering. Helping families in crisis transform their lives.
I just want you to be with me.
In only 30 days. Price of admission here is if you can't, then you must.
Keep going.
There's only one way to figure out.
Do not quit on yourself. The ability we all have to face the most enormous challenge and turn it around. You define what your successes are. Take the hill. Wow.
I'm not letting you quit.
That's my breakthrough.
Thank you. You got it. You got it.
December 6th, 2008. The happiest day of my life turned into my worst nightmare. I was married to my husband, Frank Alioto, and at the end of our reception, there was tragedy. My husband broke his neck in the swimming pool, and people were screaming. And I didn't understand what was happening. I told him he couldn't die. We had just gotten married. They took his ring off him and gave me his ring to hold. He hasn't put it back on.
I was supposed to be a newlywed. I was supposed to be, you know, planning my life, and we were talking about kids. And now everything's unknown. Really screwed up our marriage.
I don't know what the role of a wife is. I know what the role of a caretaker is, but not wife.
Here's your new wife, and you can't feel her when you hold her. What kind of life is this?
Tonight, we have an incredible love story and an extraordinary tragedy all rolled into one. It's about two people that love each other so much they'll do almost anything to make their marriage work. The question is, will this be the saddest story you've ever heard, or will this be proof positive that love really does conquer all? This is the story of Frank and Kristen Alioto.
Frank and I were married in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. All of our friends and family came down, and we had a blast. It was a really good time.
You are beautiful.
Thank you. I was thrilled to be marrying Frank. I couldn't stop shaking. I couldn't stop laughing. The experience was perfect.
For better or for worse.
As long as we both shall live.
The party was starting to wind down, and Kristen and her bridesmaids were in a little part of the pool where you can kind of dance around. And I said, well, I'm going to go be with my wife. I jumped in the pool, and then I started floating. I just remember I couldn't move, and thinking to myself I was really in trouble.
In an instant, he became a quadriplegic. Can you imagine what it would be like to spend your wedding evening in a hospital in Mexico, not knowing what's going to happen, whether your husband or wife would live or die? This is the experience that Frank and Kristen had.
Ready to get up?
No.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Frank and Kristen have been trapped in their house. Kristen's not had a single day where she could really be a wife. Where literally from day one, she's his nurse, changing his catheter every few hours, living in fear, and then depression, because what happened to the life they planned? What happened to intimacy? What happened to this idea of kids or a future?
When I see pictures of Frank and I, it doesn't look like Frank and I. It reminds me of two people that we knew once. We don't know them anymore. Better?
If I could have just walked around the pool, if I could have stayed there at the bar with my dad. I mean, there's so many what ifs.
This is a tragedy, but out of tragedy, some good must come. Our job together is see if we can get Frank to discover how he can own himself again, how he can free himself from any limitation that's in his head or in his heart. The quality of our lives is the quality of where we live emotionally. And what we've got to do is shift that for Frank and Kristen. So I'm inviting them on a journey. I'm bringing them to my home in Fiji. But when they get there, we're going to rewrite their story. Their old story was, we went to this beautiful place, and then we took this leap of faith, and our life turned into tragedy. I want to have them come to a magnificently beautiful place and take a new leap of faith and begin a brand new story in their life.
We pulled up into Namali Resort, and Tony's standing there waiting for us, and he has the biggest smile on his face.
Bula!
Bula, Tony.
Very, very nice to meet you in person.
Pleasure.
Help you get out here. Take your time. We're in no rush.
Seeing Tony help Frank out of the vehicle really got to me.
I know Tony has met with world leaders. He's met with important people. And now he's taking time to talk to me.
You know, this is not some magic cure where suddenly you're going to go walk. I don't have that ability, but the ability we all have is to face the most enormous challenge and turn it around. This is going to require both of you to do stuff you don't want to do, face things you don't want to face, but the other side of it will be greater joy and freedom than ever before. So are you up for that?
This is an adventure, and I'm treating it as such.
Well, it's going to be an adventure.
The path is going to be difficult for both of us, emotionally difficult, but I'm willing to do it. And yet, I'm thinking to myself, I have so many problems that Tony Robbins can't help me.
So I want to know what you went through, where you really are today, and what is it you really want to do with your life at this stage?
Today, we are trying to get back to life, as Frank calls it, our new reality, and it's just really difficult.
I get up in the morning to eat a meal so I can take pills, so I can sit there and wait for the next meal and more pills. It's like, that's not living.
Yeah.
I think that I started grieving the life we were supposed to have. I tried to go back to work and manage the house and help Frank and grieve.
How would you do all of that at once?
I cry a lot.
The thought of holding Kristen back makes me really sad. If I could give Kristen anything, I would be self-supportive so that she wouldn't constantly have to take care of me. I am grateful that she's my caretaker, but I don't want her to be my caretaker. I want her to be my life partner, my wife. And I don't want to wait that long to go from existing to living again.
What was a dream for you before this happened? You know, most people have given themselves something to go after that's either fun or extraordinary or great. What would the dream been with you?
Start a family. I'd gotten my career to the point where I could start looking at the home life.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the next big step.
Yeah.
And I wanted to race in the desert. I was working on building myself a desert race truck, and that was my dream.
It was a real passion for you.